Hi, everybody. How you doing? I'm Mahogany of the Mahogany Group New Home Rebates, and welcome here today. Got a lot of information for you. Want to go ahead and let everybody go ahead and get logged in and signed in. So get about 30 seconds for that, and then we'll go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to go through all of the information, and then once we're done with the information, there will be a chance for a question and answer, and we'll go through that. So all I'd like you to do is to be able to just really kind of hold on to your questions for a moment, and then either you can type them in, or we can actually go and have you off mute, and then I'll answer them on live for everybody to hear. More than likely, everybody has about sometimes the same questions. So hopefully, what I'm actually already covering will answer those questions for you. All right, we'll get started in a few moments. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so again, I am Mahogany, and company is called Mahogany New Home Rebates. It's brokered by Texas Premier Realty here in Texas, Houston, and San Antonio area. Um, and before we actually jump into the program, I want to tell you a little bit about myself first, okay? All right. So I am a realtor. Of course, it's a real estate company, right? And a loan officer as well. I've been both of the above for about going on 12, 13 years now. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Um, I am a wife to an amazing husband. They don't make them like him anymore. And I am a mom to a beautiful 6-year-old boy. And I reside in the local Northwest Houston area, in the Cypress area. I love it. When I tell you I've been to many of cities and areas and countries, this is the best city I've ever lived in. It's very diverse. Caveat off of that, I'm a U.S. Army veteran, served in the military for 13 years. Outside of that, while I was in the military, I went into ROTC program, which granted me the ability to earn my Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration. Fun times, exploring times. um, and of course, I seek to help as many home buyers as possible with this program that we have here. Okay. Who or what is the Mahogany Group New Home Rebates Company? Of course, it's a real estate company, right? That's how we're able to help you guys out with home purchases. We operate primarily in Houston. However, we are able to help you if you're anywhere in the state of Texas, but we are actually based in Houston. Our focus is for buyers that are looking to get a new construction home, and with any builder out there at all. And we provide a 2% rebate that can be used in a numerous of ways, which we'll talk about later on in this presentation. Now, what is that 2% rebate program all about? Now, let's start with the many reason for the why. We'll dig in a little bit more about why a little later. Basically, when you save us money, we're able to pass savings on to you. So when you go out there, most buyers are now going out there and they're finding their homes online, right? They're going out to communities and they're saying, oh, I like it, I love it. They talk to somebody that's on site and they sign a contract and they're not even represented, right? So when you do all that legwork and you're doing the logistics and you're already finding your own marketing online, we save on that. We don't have to do that part. So then we pass those savings on to you, the buyer, right? Now, keep in mind, whether you use a real estate agent or not with your contract of your new construction home, the price of what you're is actually being paid to that real estate agent at 3% is already factored in there. The company just go ahead and just pockets it back into their pocket if you're not using one. So it's just money kind of left on the table. Now, when I contract on the 3% commission with the builder, you therein lie get 2% of that 3%. Um, Along the way, I teach you how to use that 2% towards many choices of available savings, which again, we'll talk about in a later slide. Um, one of the biggest things that I see or I hear are that a lot of buyers are scared that they won't actually get that 2%, which we make sure that you do and that there's security there because we put it in a contract form. So therefore, it's ironclad. No matter what, you're going to get it. And there's other ways that we also secure it there within closing disclosures, commission disbursements, all of that good stuff. Now, again, I said as far as where, we're able to help anywhere in Texas, but we primarily operate in Houston. Now, why do I do what I do? So let me just give you the whole spill. versus just reading some notes, right? Now, after a life of service and now as a veteran, I've been afforded the financial flexibility to maintain a structure that can support giving back. Additionally, after much success as a normal 3% to 6% profiting agent, it was just simply unfulfilling and I felt empty, you know? So, in meaning that, I've done a lot. I mean, we've all seen the billionaires and those that are really high up there in their statuses to where they've accumulated so many materialistic things, but still they're not happy. They're not fulfilled, right? Well, it doesn't really take getting to that level to realize that no matter how much more stuff you accumulate, you're still searching. So I've just been blessed with the position with my husband and I and my son that we have ample and everything we could ever need and also things we want, you know what I mean? To be able to say, hey, we can take what we do now actively and also share that with those who may think they can't get into or possibly put them in a better position. So everybody's happy. So again, to fill that void, I took up a structure that allowed not only the selling agent, the seller, and myself to smile at the closing table because we know we're all about to get paid, right? But the buyer, you as well. So now, with the constant ability to give back 2% of the home's purchase price, it has been more than fulfilling to see so many individuals and families get into a new home in the best possible financial position available to date for them. So, why don't all realtors do this, right? Right, I know. Most are not able to maintain giving back so much and stay in the business. It makes sense because it does cost a lot to market, which is the biggest expense as a realtor. And it does cost a lot when you're doing logistics and you have to move about and search around and go in and out all the time, especially with gas prices these days, right? It costs a lot. So you can't kind of leverage that in there. Um, and most at that don't want to risk the realtor community lashing back out for them for doing something that's not status quo and potentially possibly threatening what they would consider a normal life status of a 3 to 6% profit for themselves. Well, my benefit is for you guys, and I like to see everybody smile. I don't like that feeling at the table when I know I'm about to get paid, but okay, they got bills to pay. It's like I already am blessed with that from being a veteran, and now I'm blessed even on top of from having this industry. I want everybody to be happy at the table so we can truly smile and say, hey, welcome home, right? Then most have been in the business for so long that they've just gotten settled in and used to that normal 3 to 6% profits, and they don't want to change it. That's perfectly okay, right? It's not for everybody. Of course, there may be other personal reasons why an individual realtor may not offer this high of a rebate or a rebate at all, but above are the most noted to date. Now, ways you can use your rebate, the good stuff, right? Right now, the big hot topic item of using your actual rebate is buying your interest rate down. Interest rates are all over the place right now, right? The federal uh, the feds are actually trying to actually use rates to slow the actual inflation down while not trying to cause an actual depression at the same time. But that in lies is not helping the buyer because you're going to end up paying more for that same home. Honestly, we would say years ago, but now it's more. So you're going to end up paying more for that same home that you could have bought maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago than what you're going to pay for it today because of those interest rates and monthly payments and closing costs and an overall price for that home. And since we don't know if those interest rates are going to go back down into those beautiful 2%, believe it or not, we actually reach 1% also, 2%, then there is no opportunity or projection of opportunity to say, well, I'll just refinance later and get my rate down. So we now are the opportunity to be able to help you buy that rate down up front and then say, hey, at least I caught it in while I could and I didn't have to pay for it. The next biggest thing that people use is paying for closing costs. Those closing costs. Most people don't even know that they have to pay closing costs when they're going to search for a home. They just think down payment, right? Nope. There's an admin fee that goes along with that purchase. And in that admin fee, you're paying all the people to actually process your paperwork. And with that, it normally goes in between 1 to sometimes 2.5% of your purchase price of your home. That's a big, hefty chunk. So with the 2% that we give you, that definitely takes a lot out of it or pays for it completely. Mind you, closing costs, unlike a down payment, does not go back into your equity or take off of your purchase price. It's just money that you just had to give away and pay for the transaction to happen. Who wants to do that if you don't have to, right? Now, here's another one that not a lot of people know about, but it's definitely a stickler and something that can either sometimes help you qualify for a home at all, or sometimes help you get a bigger home if you need that, or just want it, right? It's called debt to income reduction. So whenever, if you've ever gone in to go get a loan for a home, you have to go qualify and they have to see what your actual expenses are on a monthly basis that are reoccurring. And then they have to see what your income is that's reoccurring, at least that have been for the past 2 years, right? And when they do that, they're going to take that and make a ratio out of it. Now, every loan, conventional, FHA, VA, all the loans out there have a ratio that you cannot exceed. And if you do exceed that, you do not qualify for that loan program. Now, a lot of times it'll just be sometimes where, oh, you're at the top end of an actual ratio. And when you are, sometimes that's going to get you a higher interest rate. So this is kind of like double dipping. If you lower that debt to income, you can possibly get a lower interest rate to go with it, right? Now, sometimes if you just don't qualify, we can put you on a bubble to actually, okay, pay something off that they're counting as a reoccurring debt, such as maybe a credit card or something that doesn't exceed the 2% of your purchase price, or anything else that's out there that, could say, hey, I can take that down or I can pay it completely off, and they don't have to count it. Even if it's like something that is a car, if you have only maybe about less than, I think it's 6 to 7 months of a payment, and it's less than that 2%, you can pay your car off and then they don't have to count that. And guess what? You get more space, a better school district, a bigger home, because your debt to income now can afford a little bit more leverage, a little bit more room. That's a good one. A lot of people don't know about. And then, of course, there's the famous cash at closing. It's not really cash because, when you go to the actual closing table, the title company, everything's done in paper format. So it's going to be either a money order or a cashier's check, more than likely a cashier's check that is cut for you at closing. Or if not at closing, then we give it to you in a money order. And again, all of this is secured by a contract. The first three ways, as far as interest rate buy down or paying for closing costs or debt to income reduction, those are going to be, you'll see on your closing disclosure, which is definitely secured within that because it happens even before you sign at the closing table. Okay. So many questions I know may come from this one because it's very interesting and a lot that people don't know how you can utilize it. Of course, when you have cash at closing, you can do with it whatever you choose. You want new furniture, go get it. You need new appliances, go get it. You want your house painted when you move in, go do that. You need your garage epoxied, go do that. Anything you want. All right. The cons of not using 2% rebate program. I think it's kind of obvious, right? We kind of went ahead and went over everything that it does for you. So just think the opposite. But let's go into a little bit more detail. You will end up bringing more money to the table from your savings for closing costs, right? It can be a gift from somebody, which i.e. a 2% can be a part of that. It can be a gift from a family member but if you go to a family member, you have to know that they must agree that they will not be paid back. And that has to be in writing to your loan officer. And they have to agree to that. So if you guys have some side deal that says that you have to pay them back that gift, then you have it on contract that you don't. That puts them at a disadvantage and always almost makes that family member feel uncomfortable because if you meet hard times, you don't have to pay that money back and they can't enforce that you do. Okay, so you may have to settle for a smaller home. Again, if your debt to income ratio doesn't meet the margins of what it costs to get that $500,000 home, maybe you can only get a $425,000 home, which means you might be in a not as good of a school district. You might have to settle for 3 bedrooms instead of 4, or whatever have you, a very small or no lot at all, whatever have you. You just have to sacrifice on more things. Nobody ever gets everything they want in a home, not even the richest. There's always something that's missing. But when it comes down to getting the majority of your list, we all would like to have that option, right? You may have to accept a higher interest rate. Yes, again, if you're not able to do that interest rate buy down, then for sure, interest rate buy downs are pretty costly. And again, that money doesn't go back to the purchase of your home. When you buy it down, it's just money that you're paying to have that done. It's an admin fee to the loan officer. So therefore, they can make up that margin of what you would have paid them over time in interest. You're just paying it up front. Okay. It will take you longer to replenish your savings after doing your down payment. Everybody has to do their own down payment. That's non-negotiable. That's law. You just have to do that on your own, and that's fine. But what if you said, okay, I'm going to put this down payment down, and as soon as I'm done, I can take my rebate and put it right back in my savings, at least the majority of it, depending on how much you put down, right? Um, you may not be able to get the new stuff that we talked about for your home, the decorations or having somebody come in and help you with decorum or furniture, or even maybe the upgrades in your home that you want to replenish your savings for. Whatever the case may be, you will not be able to do a lot of these things that you could do if you had more of something that wasn't even expected, that 2% rebate. So, therein lies the presentation. That didn't take too long, right? Of course, if you want to contact us and you want to talk directly and you're more like, hey, I am ready to go, I just got a few questions, or where do I sign up? You can call the number there, 832-919-7711. If you're more of an email type of person, then you can definitely go ahead and take that down and email me there. If you're ready to go and you're signing up now, you can scan the actual QR code there. If you're watching from your laptop, use your phone to scan and it'll allow you to enter in your information and we can get going right away. I'll get you on to your next steps. If you have questions and you need answers right now here, which a lot of people will have most of the same, then by all means, I'm going to stay on longer and I'll go ahead and answer those for you now and possibly also get you onto your next steps as well. I'm going to leave this up for anybody that wants to actually utilize it. And then, other than that, it was so great to have you guys here. If you don't have any questions, then you can go ahead and move on now. If you want to reach back out later, still take a screenshot of this and jot it down, and you can reach out at any time. All right, you guys, it was been great today, and I look forward to talking to everybody. And yeah, have a wonderful day.